Well, good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on this Thursday evening on the 7th of the 3rd, 2024. I want to thank you, those who are joining me on TikTok, those who are joining me on Instagram, those who are joining me on YouTube, and I believe also there may be a bit on Facebook as well. But listen, it's another week, Saturday night. That is going to be talk and sip coming up. But for tonight, what we're going to be talking about is let's look at what are some of the top or the breaking news or beyond the breaking news or what is your news or so. But there's so much thing that I want to top that I actually sort of want to touch a bit on who won or lost in the recent budget by Jeremy Hunt. I want to touch also, will Trump be the next president? Another runoff between Biden and President Trump and President Biden. Does it make sense? What is going happening there, And also, Sweden has just joined the NATO. What does that mean? Sweden has joined NATO. What is going on? And Haiti, crisis in Haiti. What is the Caribbean doing about that? We're going to have a conversation about these later and so like that. Listen, Herbert, how are you doing, sir? Good afternoon.
I'm good, my brother.
Yeah, good. Listen, another very interesting week. I always say to persons that sometimes if they come on the show, I won't know what I'm going to talk about till the day.
Go to open mind.
Gotta have an open mind, totally, completely. And for those on YouTube, please like and share as much as possible. That would be great. Those on TikTok, please share this show as well. Those on Instagram, please share this show, and those on Facebook as well. It is a very interesting week, isn't it? Very interesting week whereby I think a lot of people are waiting to hear what the Chancellor is going to be talking about today. In regards to yesterday regarding the budget. I don't know if you actually followed this, the budget, because I think they're giving some money so we can take plane fare to Jamaica. Is that what they're doing? We're going to get some money to go.
Well, the 2 pence that we're getting back in our NI fund won't be able to buy, not even the, nothing will not help us to buy a meal at the airport, let alone to buy a ticket.
Yeah. Gary, how are you, sir? Good afternoon.
Gary,
good evening, man. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Good, Gary. You look cold. Like your winter just started.
Man, I am. It's rather cold up here. It is cold up here.
Really, Gary. So, age is just a number, but it can also be an embarrassment in your case.
I have no comment when these things are happening, and I just facilitate. I just facilitate the program. I just facilitate the program and just the moderator. If anything, I just say it's time out. That's below the belt. or that is above
really?
The belt.
No, really. I mean, if I was on top of Herbert's roof right now, I just bend up that area up here. Bend it up. but I come down a few weeks ago, so we're not running back up with up anything.
Well, listen, Gary, we're going to move quickly into this, and I think the first topic is the recent budget debate by the Chancellor. I don't know what you guys take on it. Is it an election budget? Is a gimmick? It's a giveaway, or is it something really a mature approach to what is happening in the UK now, taking away politics, or is it a political ploy? Because we're due an election either in May. Some are saying in May, but some serious punters are saying it's going to be in October. And this is the last budget before the next election. Yeah. What do you guys take on this, and what people take on it as well? Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I don't know if Herbert feels the same way or sees it, but But all I have been hearing about this budget, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we can hear it. We can hear it. Yes.
All I've been hearing about this budget is the 2 pence cut in the NI, I think it is, and that it is not much because I don't hear anything else about anything. I mean, to tell you the truth, this is the only year that I have not really paid any attention to what is going on. And I said to my wife, I said to her that the Conservative Party is losing the election because this is not a winning election. This is not a winning budget. It doesn't feel that way because people are complaining now, and even the Tory backbenchers I'm hearing are complaining. And I feel it looks like that the Conservative Party knows the problem that he's going to have to face if it wins it. So they're doing something, but the Labour Party seems to be going to win it, even though they're having problems with it itself. But they may win, and when they do get into government, the Tories is saying that they're going to have to deal with the problem because they don't want to deal with it. So I don't really have much. I don't really have much thoughts on what this budget is all about. Again, all I'm hearing is the 2 pence cut, nothing else.
Herbert.
From what I see, from what I understand, it's just a way of kicking a can down the road. It will stop it will stop at some point by whomever. Right?
Yes.
A couple budgets ago, our NI was hit very hard. So they've taken it with a front end with a bucket and it's giving back some with a very small teaspoon. Right? And if they want people of this country to survive, they have to do more to help the lower and middle class. I mean, there's some will say that they're going after the upper class as well by increasing tax on business class travel. And that can be minimized because all they have to do is just stop traveling business class. They won't need to pay that tax.
Yes.
So I think I think what they need to do is get someone who is qualified in that area, in the area of finance. As my opinion is that over the years there's just been sticking people where they think they can fit, instead of putting the right people in the right place. It's based on promises made, promises kept. That's my opinion.
In looking at some of the winners and losers from the Jeremy Hunt's 24 spring budget, they say millions of workers will benefit from this additional 2p cut in national insurance. As Jeremy announced moves to ease the tax burden ahead of next year's general election. I don't know why they said next year's general election when the election is due this year, but what some people are actually saying and what some punters are actually saying, and I believe his Works and Pension Secretary was saying, they are trying to actually phase out NIS, actually bring it down to zero. The Chancellor also confirmed another extension of fuel duty freeze, meaning motorists will continue to save on petrol prices. Now I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to ask this question to everyone out there. Have you seen petrol prices frozen, or you seen it going up?
No, it's gone up about 10p in the last month.
Yeah, it's going up. I mean, I've paid, and I mean, because of the motor that I run, I put in. It's been recommended to me really that I put in the higher grade of diesel, so that at least it kind of looks out. the engine. But I'm paying. I've paid as much as 175. I'm paying 175 a liter for diesel,
Yes.
and it's not going down. And I haven't bought any diesel since the budget, but it's certainly not going down.
Yes. It is bewildering because you wonder at the same time the freezing of it. Sometimes it just eats it up at the same time. It just bring it down to a level whereby where it was before. And that is why even on the news today, I mean, I think Charlie was actually challenging the the chancellor as to some of the cuts will actually hit people a lot. And if you look at what they say now, what parents are set to benefit from today's budget, as Mr. Announced that the high income child benefit charge threshold will be raised from 50,000 to 60,000, and the table applies when an individual increases beyond the threshold of 60,000, meaning they will gradually lose eligibility for child benefits will extend up to 80,000. And he explained that that means no one earning over 60,000 will pay the charge, taking 170,000 families out of paying it altogether. And because of high taper, of course, parents are going to say, well, this is something that may benefit them. Motorists in a move, many motorists will welcome the 5 billion to freeze fuel duty, um, maintain a 5p cut in fuel tax, which was first announced in 2011, that brought petrol prices down. Is it that one need to wait to see this unfold? Is it what you believe the conservatives are believing that this will unfold somehow and trickle down?
I think what they need to do, Sylbourne, is
Mm,
instead of waiting for something to happen, make something happen. Go into the North Sea and take whatever oil you have up there, so we can survive down here,
mm,
right? I mean, the environmentalists and the lobbyists are saying don't do it because of disaster, this disaster, that. But we run the risk of poor people freezing to death because they cannot buy the electric to keep them warm.
mm.
Or if they do buy the electric, they cannot buy the necessary food staples to keep them nourished. So
Yeah,
either way, they're going to die. So what are you going to do? Apologize to people when they start dying of hunger or hypothermia, to say,
yeah,
boy, we we tried but we couldn't get far enough because people were blocking roads and hanging off trains and all that.
yeah.
So they need to do something.
Well, listen, from April the 6th again, workers, German announced a further 2p cut national insurance on top of previous cuts announced in the autumn statement. Tax cut will cost the government 10 billion and will benefit workers who will see a reduction in contribution paid on their earnings. But, but think tanks have warned that the 2p cut will result in thousands being plunged into poverty and say it could actually exacerbate financial
Well,
inequalities since those families rely on a service funded by taxation.
yeah, but they need to go and work.
Mm,
Simple. They need to go and work. Because what's happening now is that families have become 100% reliant on free money at the end of the month.
mm,
Mothers don't work, fathers don't work, the children don't work, the grandchildren don't work, but their trainers cost nothing less than £300.
mm,
They use iPhone 15, the latest technology, but they don't work. So people like you and I who work,
mm,
we can't afford them because they're too expensive for us to buy.
mm.
On the other hand, those people who don't work, they have the luxury to get whatever they want because it costs them nothing.
Nothing.
So stop talking about people are going to be plunged into poverty. There's enough work out there for everybody to get. Okay? They need to go find work.
Yes. Gary,
I mean,
what do you
yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. They do need, people need to go to work. There's jobs out there. Now, the jobs out there, how do we know? Because they're crying out because of they sent the Eastern European home because of Brexit. So that
There
Yes,
you
left
go.
yes.
There you go.
that left a whole heap of jobs, a big hole in the economy. They need truck drivers, from what I understand still that they're crying out for truck drivers, lorry drivers and such.
Mm.
The bus drivers. I believe there are jobs in driving buses and such. So there are jobs. There are jobs. They must stop giving out free handouts to people. They need to stop that. But I
Well,
don't know.
that's
Again,
yeah. When when
go
when
ahead.
when the, when the Labour Party comes in, that's going to be fueled
I
for more
remember
of that
back
type of.
back in 2016, I said to an individual, why don't you go back to school?
Mm.
And he said to me, if he goes back to school, he's going to lose his benefit.
Actually, some years ago, I was actually in this multi-level marketing business and was doing well. And then someone said, someone said, "Will I lose my benefit if I'm making money?" And the person said, "Well, you should aim towards trying
Of
not to get
course,
benefits."
of
So the
course.
mentality, right? You need to aim towards coming off benefits in a sense. And so therefore it is a mentality also that needs to change. The unfortunate thing is like countries like Jamaica, for argument's sake, whereby we do not have a welfare system. People have to
Yeah,
work.
but welfare system. Good. They wait until election time come.
Okay, welfare system. Wait till election time come. Well, that's another one. Well, a couple of the losers, a couple of the winners continued. Investors. Mr. Announced that a plan for new British ISA. That's not a thing. Gary, I'm hearing a feedback there. I'm just gonna put you on mute there. Yeah, Gary is getting a feedback, so I just put you on mute until they come back. I'm hearing a she sound there. Um, so what it says here is that uh, allowing 5,000 investment into UK firm as part of this plan to make the UK the world's next Silicon Valley. And he said the move would encourage more people to invest in UK assets. Researchers going to benefit. Chancellor also announced a 360 million research package to boost British manufacturing, which the Chancellor said would boost and research development and film creators, filmmakers, and creative industry will have been handed a 40% corporate tax relief. As Mr. Hunt said, the UK will be a second only to Hollywood for that. And what he said is that Idris Elba is doing some filming here in the UK. Gary's going to do some filming in the UK, and everybody. So therefore, he said there's a spring in the step in the UK. Isn't this good? Is this great news? I mean, the UK is ready and open for business, isn't it? Call on the election.
But
Well,
they're always saying that though. I mean, they're always, you see, again, it's election time, and they will always say things
Yes.
to get people excited, you
Mm.
know. And that's not always the case. That's not always the case. After the election is something else. Another thing happens, and oh, we couldn't do it because something is happening. I mean, I don't
Mm.
know.
Well, a couple of the losers, non-doms, dramatic U-turn. The Chancellor announced plans to crack down on the tax breaks for controversial non-doms in the budget. Home buyers, little relief for home buyers in the Chancellor's statement. In really early this year, the Treasury looking at helping those desperate to get on the property ladder by backing 99% mortgages. Owners of holiday lets. The Chancellor has unveiled a tax rate on the owners of short-term holiday lets. I believe this is Airbnb. Higher tax on second homes used as holiday lets are expected to raise hundreds of millions of pounds. That's happening in Jamaica, isn't it? They're trying to get some tax off of these persons, isn't it? Recently, Herbert. Bad news for
yeah,
smokers. Yeah, as the Chancellor announced the introduction of a Levian vaping products from October 2026 in a bid to discourage non-smokers from taking up vaping. You know, So there are some losers and there are some winners.
Sylbourne,
Yeah.
do you know why people smoke? Do you know why people smoke?
No, because I don't smoke. Why they
Some
smoke?
people smoke because of stress.
Right.
And the government responsibility is to alleviate stress.
So
One example.
Yes.
Up to yesterday,
Mm.
there was chaos on Stratham High Road. A 50-minute journey will take you 2 hours on the bus
Yes.
because Valley Road, Liam Court Road was blocked off from about
Why was it blocked up?
October last year. They wanted everybody to use the High Street and all in Clapham Common, Chatham Common, right? Now
Yeah.
today they have announced that he has been lifted. Now if you're sitting in your car going to work and you cannot get to work, right?
The high
Your
stress.
stress level is building up.
Mm.
Even if you don't smoke, you're going to stop and buy a cigarette, buy a pack of cigarette or buy a vape or something because you need to calm your nerve with something. Everybody's strong enough.
But that is for persons who already are smokers, isn't it? It doesn't
No,
discourage people.
no.
Okay.
People
But
people smoke because they're stressed.
got the stress. So
Yes,
therefore, are you saying then? I don't have evidence, or maybe you have it or so. Are you saying then that based on figures, there should be more smokers in the UK now than less smoker,
correct.
and then the government is going to benefit by the
Either way
tax.
they're going to benefit.
So it's a double whammy then. So they, so
Either
so
way
they're,
they're going to benefit.
so they're robbing Peter and giving to Paul. If in a sense,
That's
they are
correct.
yeah. Okay, Gary, what's
That's
your take on
correct.
that? Hmm. Stress.
Well, I mean, there are reasons. I mean, I have heard that reason. I've heard that people turn to smoke because it helps them to cope. Now, I'm not a smoker. I don't know how it would help me.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, smoking doesn't help people
Yes.
health wise. It helps them to cope. I understand what Herbert is saying. That's the reason why people turn to smoke. But health wise, there's a downside to that because obviously for some it affects their lungs, or some people have lung cancer and it goes on to onto other stuff. But again, I don't think I would never encourage anybody to smoke. If anything, I would always
Yes.
encourage them not to. And if
Mm.
they don't, if somebody smokes and they stop smoking, they've got extra cash in their pocket. So
No, they
because I'm
should.
sure a packet of cigarette,
Yes.
I'm sure a packet of cigarette is expensive anyway. So it would help them even economically.
Okay, well, can I just ask persons there, those on TikTok, those on Facebook, and those on YouTube, and those on Instagram, if you're stressed, what do you do? If you're stressed, where do you go? You go over and take a walk in the park, or you just go and find a cigarette, or go and do vaping? That's a big question I would like to ask. But I want to move on quickly from this now and let the Chancellor and see if it unfolds. Um, Trump, and Biden. Trump Super Tuesday came in and Herbert made it again and stuff like that. Will Trump be the next president of America? That's what the punters are saying. Because or Joe will just walk into it back. Hmm?
Based on Trump's
I
rhetoric,
eh?
based on Trump's rhetoric, is racist and everything that comes with it. America's trying to, everybody's trying, the countries around the world are moving away from autocracy, from dictatorship. Trump is trying to put America on the map as an autocratic nation. It's not going to happen.
Mm.
And there's And once he goes in, he has only 4 years. There's no guardrails to hold him back. Why it didn't get done in the first term? He will perfect it in the second term.
But the question is this: is it Trump or is it the people behind Trump? Well, the people know where Trump stands. He makes it very clear, but yet he's galvanizing and getting all this sort of support. The more they actually attack him, the more they take him to the court, the more he gains traction. Nikki Haley didn't dent anything. Ron DeSantis, who
No,
was supposed to be a great front runner, had to pull out. But is it the people? Is the people calling for him? Is it that what is that
because
is it what they want the states to be?
Trump is very good at mind games. He's not an intelligent person, but he's good at mind games. And all the court appearances that he's gone to, he does not need to be there. But he's using himself as a martyr to say to people, if I'm a billionaire and they're treating me that way,
Can imagine
what
you.
about you poor people? What would they do to you?
So
Come,
he's playing
come support me.
He's playing brinkmanship then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is he not using his intelligence with his advisors?
No.
Gary, what do you say about that? Is Trump dumb or what? Guy was a president of America. The guy owned a lot of companies. The guy, moved up there. Is he a dumb guy? See, like many people say they want to be dumb. If that's Trump.
Listen, I mean, Herbert has already answered the question.
Yeah.
I mean, Herbert, Trump is, he's got some, if it's not him, he's got some good advisors. He's got some brilliant advisors advising him on what he needs to do, where he needs to be, what he needs to say.
Yes.
And he is playing the game. If he hasn't learned politically in his first 4 term,
yes,
then he hasn't learned at all. But he's using that everything along the way. You see, Trump learns the reason why he's been so successful in business, whether it's done properly, under the table, or whatever. The reason why Trump is a millionaire or a billionaire, the reason why he's been so successful with his deals is because he learns as he goes along. And yes, Herbert says he doesn't need to go to court. I mean, look how many people are in court right now, and I'm talking about the millionaires and the billionaires that are in court. In court for something, and they're not there. They don't have to turn up. They've got their legal teams. They've got the money to pay them to represent them, and all of that. They don't need to show up. They don't need to utter a word. Yeah, they just need to give statements. They send their statements, and the lawyers speak for them. But Trump turns up. Trump don't need to speak. Trump
why do people think he's turning up?
It's electioneering. Electioneering.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this then.
Yeah.
This is what Trump has done. He's getting free airplay, free advertisement, and he's using that as what he did before. Because everybody knows that he's what do you call it? I don't think it's the right word. They use it sometimes to describe Boris Johnson. Stardust is like some sort of excitement factor there. So even though he's bad, or some may deem he's bad, but then you got lots of people who are behind him. Lots of people are supporting him.
Yes.
What does that say?
Sylbourne.
That's it. America's gone to the dogs.
You're giving dog a discredit. You're being disrespectful to the dog.
To the dog.
Yes, you are. You are being right now, right? Trump is the only man in history to
Yes.
bankrupt a casino,
Yes.
right? They were reading out a list of his failures a couple years ago.
Yes.
And the only thing successful about Trump is that he's lived until he's this age right now.
Yes.
That's the only thing successful he's done.
Let's face.
And
Yeah, go on. It's go on.
that was given not by him because he had no control over it.
Mm.
It's just a natural life. Right? But Trump has never been successful in business. Anything that he's done is created fraud. Anything.
Yes.
Even to get
I
into
mean,
the White House, he created a fraud.
Yes.
Herbert, let me ask
Yes.
you. Let me ask
Yes.
you. Yeah, you have evidence for that? Not so much. No,
About what?
hold on. Not so much about the White House, but all of his
Yes.
business dealings. I'm just asking you. I'm just asking you because we, we have to be careful what we say to some extent. But then you may
Well,
have it. You may
it is
have it. So
documented.
I don't know.
It is
Go
documented.
ahead.
I read it. I read it.
Okay.
I read it.
Mm.
And I
Somebody said.
would never say
Yeah.
anything. I would never say anything that I cannot reference.
You know, when they say, a lot of people sometimes say the Jamaican government or the prime minister is corrupted, and they use these words. I always say that I can't come out on the limb and say so without facts and without evidence, because you assert must prove. That's a terminology in law, and that is why I never come out and make certain claims on certain persons. I see Noreen Hunt and what she said is narcissistic, and I noticed that's a term which is used. I remember these words were just going around. A lot of people are using these words. It's like a new term, and I think people use these words. I'm not saying this is the case here. Many people use these words sometimes when they don't like somebody. You know, I trust if you speak to all the different persons who are supporting Trump, they will say not narcissistic. You know, and that's the thing that I sometimes question is, I can't say someone is corrupted. I can't say someone is narcissistic. I can't say a certain thing without evidence or so. But one thing I can recognize is that if Americans somewhat see Donald Trump as a person who is fit to be their president, who are we to say otherwise? I mean, people are now saying Biden is fit, and yet he has cognitive issues. And I would not sort of ridicule him
Well,
because, of course, he's an elderly guy.
no, but
But if the
Trump
people want him to
is
be
old.
their president, then let them be.
And the person who said that Biden has cognitive failure
No,
had
it's
no
not.
legal. No?
It was a report. It was a report.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
go
guy
on.
who wrote the report had no
Yeah.
legal authority to say because he's not a qualified professional.
He had no medical. What should I
No,
say?
legal or medical or
Okay.
ethical,
But many
right?
people
A
can draw the
Republican
inference.
special.
Mm.
He was a Republican special counsel
Yeah.
tasked at investigating Biden's removal of documents from the White House when his term as presidency ended.
But one could flip it again to say that one is calling Trump certain things. As people got their evidence, have they got their research? Is it a legal thing for them to say that? Just like how people has drawn their inference in regards to Trump,
Well,
people are drawing their inference in regards to Biden. Which
well,
one is more? Which one is more right?
I have it written here in one
Yes.
of his in a book that was written up. Well, I have about 1, 2, 3, 4 books about him.
About Trump.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he's never read a book in 30 years, maybe 40 years now.
And how
Right?
do we know that he has never read a book? Just asking.
Because it is written. It is people close to him that's giving out that information. It is
Gary,
written.
but Gary,
Right?
this is a big question, Gary. The guy's not read a book, but he became the president of America. What does that say?
Yes, that goes to show. That goes to show, right? The minimum level of thinking that some American has
Yes.
to think that this man, who's a constant failure, is fit enough to lead one of the biggest countries in the world.
And this is a man, apparently, well, maybe the evidence is now saying that he conned New York and all those sort of things, but there's evidence that he has built these business, and he has he owned these golf course, and he owned all these different things. Is it the same Trump, or is the one that does a lot of, he's in lots of films or so? I'm just asking. I mean,
No,
so these guys are dumb. He's dumb.
No, he's not altogether dumb, but what he does,
Yes.
he picks on people's vulnerabilities around him.
Yes.
He tells those people what they want to hear, and they stroke his ego.
Is that what Keir Starmer is doing now? Many people are saying Keir Starmer, they don't trust him. I know a couple of Labour persons say they don't trust him because he's just telling people what they want to hear. Is that
Well,
putting?
do you trust a politician?
Huh?
Do you trust any politician? Have you ever seen a politician that you trust?
Well, they said if they're not talking, that's when you can trust them. If the mouth is moving, that's when you don't trust them. Is that?
Well,
Gary, do you trust politicians?
I would rather trust them when their mouth is moving.
You trust them when they're not
talking? Yeah. When they're not talking, you don't know what they're thinking.
but you see, this points to, because we're going to talk quickly about Jamaica and even talk about Sweden joining NATO. But what we are hearing, Gary, is that these are persons. All politicians somehow are the ones running this country, this world. In the UK, Rishi Sunak. In America, Biden. In Germany, I forget who this guy named. Since Merkel is gone, he hasn't got I haven't heard. I don't know what's his name. Trudeau in Canada. Gary, what do you are you going to go to the limb to say politicians can't be trusted?
I mean, politics in this world right now,
yes,
cannot be trusted. I wouldn't say there are some politicians. I'm sure there is a politician that you know or you don't know, Herbert or Sylbourne, that you could probably, let's say, and some people say, I don't usually say terms like this, but your spirit take the individual. I mean, like sometimes back home, sometimes when people meet people or people talk about a particular person or individual, they will say, my spirit can't take that one.
Okay, yeah, vibes. There's not a good vibe. My spirit not take the person. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So
therefore, Gary got frozen. I think. I wonder if you were saying something against Trump or whatever, because they will watch. You know, and maybe I have to go to the States, so we have to keep it quiet. But listen, someone just said a while until Gary comes back in. Madness it is going in the USA, in the US. Vote for visionary people. I think the big question though is this, Robert, and many people are asking this question. Even Americans are asking this question. How comes you have this rerun? Gary, I don't know what happened to you a while ago. You got muted and you lost. You got frozen.
No, I was just saying really that that sometimes there are politicians that go in that really want to make a difference in in the lives of whom whatever constituents they run for.
Yes.
And it's difficult for them. But what overshadows them again is what everybody else is doing.
Yes.
So in the case of Trump, now I understand what Herbert is saying. I understand what others have said.
Yes.
I understand, the country that is so divided right now in America.
Yes.
But the world, it is quite evident to me, and I think to a few other world leaders around the world, is that they are very happy that Trump wasn't president at this very moment in time, because
Is
I
it?
think what is not president
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now,
Yes.
because if he was the president, then probably the decisions that Biden made, which of course were disastrous, it was, I mean, I don't know who was really advising Joe. I don't know.
To do
It's
what?
it,
To do
but
what?
it boggles the mind, even in
Advising Joe to
regards
do what?
even in regards to that Afghanistan move. You know,
No, that Afghanistan, no, that
he could
Afghanistan
have
move
done.
was signed
Once again,
No,
Herbert.
after
but
Trump.
he could,
Go on, go
yes,
on.
but he could have stopped that. He could have stopped that, Herbert.
He
He
tried.
could have stopped it.
He tried.
Uh,
He tried.
no,
He
he could
tried.
have stopped that, because
No, he
that
tried.
was, how did he try? Show me how he
He
tried.
went to Taliban. He
No,
approached
I'm
the
not.
Taliban and asked them for
No,
time.
no,
And they say,
it's
no, a
not.
minute more.
No, no, it's not so much about the Taliban.
It's
He
what then?
could have done something about it in regards to, they're the most, listen, everybody knows whether they wanted to do something about it or not, but everybody knows that the United States military is the most powerful force in
Yes.
the world. Yes, that goes without a doubt. And if the president of the United States, whoever the individual is or was, if he had said, we're not pulling out because it's going to be disastrous, it's going to be terrible, we're staying put. Yeah.
Gary.
Now the Taliban may
No,
have,
Gary.
hold on. The Taliban, Herbert, the Taliban may have responded or retaliated. They may have done that, but I tell you, it would have been better that they retaliate and the United States stand their ground than allow to what happened immediately after and right now in Afghanistan, because the entire economy collapsed. It was worse before, but it collapsed. Women, girls, they lost their freedom. They couldn't go back to school. They couldn't continue with the university education. Businesses closed, and the whole area of their society had completely collapsed. Now, what would you prefer? Looking at it from that, and again, we're talking from hindsight because we really don't know what would have happened. But we're talking, is it subjectively or objectively? I don't know in what we're talking now. But what would you have preferred? Or what would you prefer? What happened when they pulled out, or some kind of normalcy with families staying together, with women, wives, young girls, daughters still having and holding their place in society as it was, in as much as it was so difficult to get it to that stage. For all of a sudden, women are beaten in the streets. They can't go to work. They
Yeah.
can't open their business. Girls cannot go to school. They're separated. I mean, what would you have preferred?
Let's go to
Gary,
Herbert. Let's go to Herbert.
remember, when Trump lost the election, he signed a lot of secret deals, right? One of the deals he wanted to sign was to pull the US Army out of Germany, right? The generals stood up against it. But he signed that Afghan document to get out of that country by August 31st, 2021. While he was president on his One foot was in the White House and one was on the land. Right? The current president, through his advisors, approached the Taliban seeking an extension. Right? Remember, they had a lot of logistics in Afghanistan to leave, to be removed. They couldn't get to remove them. They have to leave them there, dismantle them, take out the computer bits, and leave the shells there.
But doesn't this show the weakness of America under Biden? That doesn't happen in America.
No. Trump did it to be to show that he's that petty that he will let American citizens die overseas.
Trump. I thought Trump was the one who wanted to get them out, and Biden was the one that let them in.
No. Had Trump leave the White House without signing the order to get the army out of the military out of Afghanistan, a smoother transition could have been negotiated by the US with the Taliban.
Yes.
Right? Trump does not like the army.
Yeah.
He does not like the military.
Well,
remember, he refused to serve. He had bone spurs in one of his feet. He himself don't remember which one it was.
Robert, I'm going to leave this here. I tell you what, I'm going to leave it here because one of the things that I'm looking at, I can hear individual biases against Trump, but one of the things that I'm looking at is that if the American people are actually supporting this institution, and let's call Trump an institution in a way, I know we can always have our say and have our voice or whatever like that, but who are we to question the right of the American people to bring in who they want to be president? Who are we to say who's one of us? Who are we to say one has cognitive issues? I mean, we're only repeating things in a way. That's how I see it.
We're having a discussion.
Yeah.
Right? And it's centered around Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Now, had Trump be the leader he was supposed to be, and hand over that power when he was supposed to hand over, all this we will be having this discussion.
So therefore, Biden was coupled by Trump.
Yes.
And led to the whole issue regarding Afghanistan.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Trump is saying otherwise. Biden is saying otherwise. Only God knows, or you knows.
Well, I think I know a little bit more.
I think a little bit more. Okay. All right. Let's leave Trump there and see if he become president and hear what you say. So let's come back to that when Trump become president or Biden become president. Next one is Norway. There's a quick one. We just want to touch on Norway. I don't know if anyone noticed Norway. Sorry, Sweden. Sweden officially joined NATO. This alliance. You know, is this putting some pressure on Russia there to a certain extent?
It's a little bit too late for me. For years, I think Sweden and Ukraine were trying to join NATO. For years, Ukraine, they told him that there's too much corruption in your neck of the woods. You need to sort it out.
Yes.
And Sweden, I do not know what the holdback was for them to be given the green light. But I remember one of their citizens went to Syria to fight ISIS, and even though he did a good job, when he went back to Sweden, they put him on trial because it was not Sweden's forte to get involved in international conflicts. Now to see they've taken that step to get involved for the betterment and the safety of their citizens.
Yes.
Right? I think they should be commended for having the fortitude to step up and let Russia know that we are not going to allow you to bully right anybody around this neck of the woods.
Because it says Sweden has officially joined the NATO military alliance, ending decades of neutrality amid soaring
Yeah.
concerns about Russia's aggression in
Yeah.
Europe following its invasion of Ukraine. Unity and solidarity
Mhm.
will be Sweden's guiding light as a NATO member. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said in a statement believed in Washington, D.C. after a meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. And good things come to those who wait, Blinken said as he received Sweden. I mean, is Russia worried by this? I mean, Russia wasn't.
Secretly, yeah.
Mm, I feel like it's
Secretly,
getting on.
yeah.
Well, I mean, to tell you the truth, for a long time before the Ukraine conflict,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
really thought that Sweden, as well as Norway, or is it Iceland? I thought that they were part of NATO. But looking at history and doing my own little research, I found out that these Scandinavian countries were not. They were part of the USSR, weren't they? They were, or at least close allies to them back in the day, and they had become neutral because obviously they knew to some extent of what the leadership of Russia before Putin, didn't like. So they wanted to keep them. They wanted to keep them happy, and so they had agreements that they wouldn't join NATO because again they are very much on the borders of Russia. But now,
Yes.
because Russia is really becoming aggressive, and as they say, the bear is awakening, then they're afraid that they could be attacked, that the Russian tanks could go across their borders. So to bolster their defenses, is it Sweden? It is Sweden, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Sweden, yeah.
Sweden has decided to make application and to join NATO, which of course, yes, Russia has every right now to become afraid because that's the very same reason why they're fighting in Ukraine. Because if NATO decided to go into Ukraine or to accept Ukraine's
Membership.
application, yeah, then to them it's over. So
Yeah.
they're very much more afraid now. So if Sweden has joined, Norway has made application, isn't it? I think Norway has made application also.
I think.
You
I
sure?
And
think
also
Norway.
Ukraine. So why is Ukraine?
And
Yeah.
and what about Iceland? Iceland hasn't requested, have they?
Mm.
Let
All of
me
these
So,
give me a second. Let me check.
but they have every right to be afraid. Yeah, I think they should be
You mean
afraid.
Russia? You mean those countries have every right to be afraid
No,
in the
Russia.
They
event
have
of
a right,
Russia?
but Russia has a right because they are acting aggressively. They're acting very aggressively.
Yes. 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 As in his Twitter, the Swedish Prime Minister said, Sweden is now a NATO member. Thank you all allies for welcoming us as the 32nd member. We'll strive for unity, solidarity, and burden sharing, and will fully adhere to the Washington Treaty values, freedom, democracy, individual liberty, and the rule of law stronger together. Fears of Russian military threat. Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24th, 2022 sparked Sweden and its neighbor Finland, which shares 1,340 kilometers, 830-mile border with Russia, to apply to join NATO. So while maybe there is not a pending threat, but they are looking at the fact that just like what happened to Sweden, to Ukraine, can happen to them. So they are protecting themselves. And I believe,
Right.
I believe, I think the issue now is for Zelensky with
Yeah.
to join up with the place. I guess the whole world is now is joining up to becoming a bloc. Now you wonder at the same time. Well, it's more of a military bloc. They're trying to be. You touch me, you touch all.
Well, that's what NATO is.
Yes.
But what Ukraine found themselves in is that the president before Zelensky, he's pro Putin.
He's pro
And
Putin.
he
He was pro
sent
Putin.
yeah. He sent a document to say that Ukraine will never join NATO, which because of its solidarity to Russia.
That was some time ago, wasn't it?
That was Zelensky became president in 2016, 2017, thereabouts.
Yeah.
So before that, they had this president that it was everything Russia, just like their neighbors Belarus. So in that on that line, it was Belarus, Ukraine, Russia, along with some other countries in the former USSR.
Yeah.
Ukraine decided that they don't want to be a part of that alliance, so they had open, free, and fair elections.
Yes.
Right? The president then had to retreat to Russia. So when Russia invaded Ukraine recently,
Yes.
it was meant for Zelensky to be assassinated or taken prisoner, and that president be reinstalled as president of Russia, of Ukraine.
Yeah.
This would be keeping in line with the Belarusian president, forgot his name,
I know
right?
the guy. Yeah.
Lukashenko.
Mm.
Remember, he was also beaten at the polls, but he used demonstration. He used his military to quash the demonstrations because he was adamant he's not leaving office.
Yes.
He was ably assisted by Putin, who sent his forces there to run away all the legally appointed governors and ministers. So they're
Yeah.
all in exile. Lukashenko is the one now that is supporting Putin.
Yes.
So Putin on one side, Belarus on one side, and Ukraine in the middle.
So what stops now Zelensky from becoming a member of NATO? He's
Because
not
of the
president
level of corruption that Ukraine had at the time,
at the
right?
time. What about
At the
now?
time, no, not no. And that
So,
is why, trying to fast track Ukraine's application to NATO.
and Russia is not supportive of
And
that.
Russia is not having it because Russia does not want NATO on his doorstep,
On
let
his
alone in his
doorstep.
kitchen.
Yes. Okay, so that's one to watch there at the same time,
Yeah.
NATO and Sweden, and see who else, because I believe what has happened now is that with Sweden in now, I think you're going to see some fast track things going on at the way they
I
sort of
think Norway is next.
Norway is next. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to touch on Haiti before we go. I don't know if you guys have been, I know we talk all about the UK, the USA, Sweden, but right in our back garden, our back step. I mean, of course, we're Jamaican background there. Right in the Caribbean, we have this issue going on with Haiti, you know, and you know, I don't know if you guys take on this, because what it says, Haiti is in chaos after a massive prison break and gangs calling for the resignation of its prime minister. You know, Haiti's government declared a 72-hour state of emergency on Sunday after armed gang members stormed the Caribbean nation's biggest prison, freeing more than 4,700 inmates. And I believe the prime minister or the president was in Kenya trying to pull together 1,000 strong Kenyan troops to come to Haiti. And I believe also there was some talks at one point for that Kenyan group to somehow have Jamaican troops as well on the it. I don't know if you guys have been monitoring what's going on with Haiti, but it's very concerning. Totally very concerning what's going on in Haiti there.
Well,
Right in our backyard. Yeah.
Haiti is not just now.
Yes.
From the days of Papa Doc and Baby Doc.
Mm.
I'm not sure if you're old enough to remember them,
I remember he say
right?
he's president for life. He's
Yeah.
president for life. But
Okay.
Papa Doc, yeah. Yeah.
Well, then it went on to Aristide, Bertrand
Yeah.
Aristide.
Was
Yeah.
Aristide is one that got kicked out and went to Jamaica and was living in Jamaica? I don't know what happened to Aristide.
No,
Was
Aristide came to somewhere in Europe.
so he's still
He,
alive?
he was he was a Catholic priest. From as far as I know, he's still alive.
He's the one with his eyes look a bit halfway like, yeah.
No, just say the correct man of Cassie.
Yeah.
He can look straight.
Okay.
And look at Bush.
Yeah, look at Bush.
Was he a good guy or a bad guy?
It depends on how you want to look at it.
Yes.
Right? Because what he was approachable by Western governments,
Mm.
right? But Haiti, I think, over 1,000 years has been embroiled in
Crisis.
controversy. Remember, they're the first nation
Got
in the
independence.
Western Hemisphere to be freed of slavery
Mm.
and to gain independence. Now, when they gained independence from France, they had to pay back France money,
Mm.
and that they've never recovered from. So all the presidents that have been in Haiti have taken from Haiti something that they cannot get back.
So Mad Dog, what's his name? The guy there, what's his name? There's a what's the geezer name? The one who is the leader of the pack. They give him a name because he say burn up people. What's the guy name? I saw recently a documentary on him. Well-known activist said the weekend gang paraded through. What's his name? I'm trying to find his name. Haiti has been, it marks the involvement of the gang. Okay, barbecue. They call him barbecue. Jimmy Chavez
Is
better
it?
barbecue in 18 October 20. Yeah, barbecue. He said the guy better go. He gave ultimatum to the president.
No,
Let's go.
but Silver, the current
Yeah.
president was not legally elected. He appointed
Was
himself
was this after the killing of the recent
after.
president
Yeah, yeah.
and his wife is
No,
now being investigated as well.
his wife is now being charged for his murder.
Wow. Corruption to the high level.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Gary,
And-
what do you think about this?
I
Gary,
mean,
what do you think about this, man?
Well, I mean, it's something that France should be held accountable because France knew, as Herbert said, when Haiti asked for independence and got it, they had to pay back money. I mean, why should Haiti have to pay them money? You know, and France knew. They must have known at the very highest level what that would have done to the Haitians and to the economy of Haiti. And it has never recovered since. Never. And the people are suffering for that. The people are suffering, my brother, for that. France should be held accountable.
They say gangs are parading through Port-au-Prince with their arms openly. It wasn't done at night and the police was nowhere to be found. Almost 3 years after the assassination of President Jovenel Moise, Haiti has been in free fall. Elections haven't been held since 2017. That's what you're saying about Herbert, that the president appointed himself. So the term for every elected official has expired. Security services are overwhelmed and millions are going hungry. There are three things you should know about this latest bout of violence. It marks the overt involvement of gangs in politics. The guy named Robert Fatton, who studies Haiti at the University of Virginia, says other bouts of violence in Haiti were marked by fights between gangs. So it is said the gangs now, in a way, have forged an alliance. And at least one of the big gang leaders, Jimmy Scherzer, who is nicknamed Barbecue, has said explicitly that the point of this violence is to overthrow the government. It's always interesting
There's
when
no
one,
government to overthrow.
huh?
There's no government to overthrow.
Well, that's the thing. So how do you then, if the gangs overthrow the government, then will they put in a government? Then it starts the cycle all over again. Haiti's
Remember,
Prime Minister Errol Eno traveled to Kenya last year. The East African country agreed to lead a multinational force in Haiti, but Kenyan courts have delayed the deployment. Henry was in the country trying to close that deal. That's been going on for a while. Go ahead.
all right.
Uh,
You see, just like the Rwanda business with London,
which they lost the
right?
recent thing in the
Right.
House. Yeah.
It's the same thing the Kenyan government has found themselves in with Haiti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Haiti does not have a functioning government to say when the Kenyans go, where their reporting will be,
So
who are they going to report to,
yes,
right? The
they could find
UN,
themselves. They could find themselves in a sort of Vietnam thing, isn't it?
there you go.
Wow.
And the UN has washed their hands of Haiti for now.
But more focus
Remember,
because
UN,
they're more focused on the Middle East and Ukraine.
yes, and
Interesting.
remember, the UN had a peacekeeping force in Haiti for about 10 years
Is that the one where
with
the
not
Clintons? They
with
said the
nothing to
Clintons.
show from it.
That's what. Is that the one where they said the Clintons also take some money or something like that or something?
That's what they say,
That's what they say. Yeah. And I
right?
have to use the word allege. I have to use those words allege. Yes.
The Jamaican government sent the army along with the UN peacekeepers to Haiti. Nothing achieved.
You know what somebody said yesterday? I was listening to a program, Make We Talk, or one of these bloggers them in Jamaica, and they were saying that their worry and their concern is that with the recent boat people that came to Jamaica,
Yeah.
they are worried that you might have gangs heading for Jamaica as well.
Well,
It
the
could be,
gangs have been
when
heading
they
to
come
Jamaica
on shore.
for the gangs have been heading to Jamaica for decades.
Really,
I did in my dissertation last year.
and you need to share the dissertation one day when you are
Right.
showing it.
I will. I
Mm.
highlighted where the gangs. I think I highlighted where the gangs are going to Jamaica to
Yes.
trade guns for drugs.
Wow.
Right. Jamaica and Haiti have a very close trading relationship illegally.
Wow.
Right.
Mm.
All the AK-47s and name it, everything in Jamaica. Most of them are transported from Haiti
Mm.
into Jamaica because Jamaica has 114 open areas around their borders that is being unpoliced. So it is just open to the Haitians and the Jamaicans trading firearms and drugs and all that.
Gary, what do you think about this when it comes on to um, the Caribbean? I mean, Haiti is a part of the Caribbean. I mean, shouldn't the CARICOM, in a way, you know, be a strong sense of security? You touch one, all of us are going to go in. If something happened to
Listen,
Jamaica, jump in and help.
I'm quite certain. Lord have mercy. I'm quite certain, right? And I'm sure. Well, I'm just. It's just that I'm just shooting in the dark here, but I'm sure Herbert would agree with me on this, that the governments down in the Caribbean know exactly what is happening here. They know that the guns are flowing across the borders. They know that the you know where the problems are. They know it. They know it. None of them can tell me that they don't know. The U.S. government knows what's happening. They know what the causes are. They know where the guns are coming from. They know that the guns are going from Haiti to Jamaica. Because again, I didn't know what Herbert has said there. I didn't know that was there, but obviously it's there. If he can research and find that out,
Yes.
right, then the governments know exactly what's going on. The Jamaican government knows that. They know also, what's coming in from Cuba. So you see, it's all relational. Nothing happens in isolation. Nothing happens in isolation. And if the governments of the Caribbean wanted to put an end to these things, it would have. Haiti is not just a 2-week wonder that just happened the other day.
Yeah.
From when I was a boy, it's been happening for years.
I just saw something on Instagram. Haiti.
Yeah.
The Caribbean nation of Haiti is seeing some of its most violent days. Residents in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, are frequently greeted by gunfire.
Wow.
Millions are at risk, and thousands have fled the violence.
You see, a couple years ago, Sylbourne, a couple years ago, the gangs took over the gas distribution in Haiti, right? Where the ships could no longer go in to deliver petrol.
Yes.
If they do, the gangs were taking over the tankers to go distribute to their neck of the woods. Right?
So yeah.
So what you see happen now is that Haiti is now a failed state.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. A failed state.
So who can help those millions of people there? Those who are caught in the middle of the whole thing.
Well, recently there was a declaration by some citizens to say, live or die, they're going to take on the gangs. Now, do they have the wherewithal to do that? Or will they need support from external forces, i.e., the government, the United Nations, the CARICOM, right? Can they get the assistance that they need?
Yes. Well, many are saying that, which is, I believe, in a way, one can't wait on that. But they're saying Kenyan police are still seen as a way out of this crisis. There must be a roadmap as to what is the crisis and what do you want to achieve. Is it that you want to install this president or get elections? They said Kleska was part of a civil society group that has promised a holistic approach to ending the Asian crisis. Part of the problem is that Prime Minister Henry has been solely focused on a military situation. Henry, she says, could have ordered a state of emergency from the time he came to power, allowing the police to bring the gangs under control at the same time plan for election. Instead, a few months after after he came to power, he went to the United Nations and sent me some troops and then crossed his arms. And that's all they did, and wait.
You You want help,
Yeah.
but you're not willing to help yourself. Yes,
Not it.
I'm going to send you my troops, but how are you going to ensure their safety?
Yes.
Right? Remember, it happened in Panama,
Mm.
in Grenada,
Mm.
parts of Colombia, parts of Mexico, right? But Haiti stands out like a sore thumb.
Mm.
Does not want to do anything to help themselves, but want everybody else to do the work.
Yes.
What is it that the Kenyan police knows about Haiti that the Caribbean police don't know?
Yes. And one of the things they're talking about is that Haiti is a very diverse place. I mean, you can't just go in there unless you know the place. These gangs and these guys know the place, know the terrain. And also
There
these
you
gangs
go.
guys are
There you
not
go.
in a particular uniform that you can know who is the person.
There you go.
And
All right.
therefore, so therefore it's a tight one, Herbert and Gary.
Look at Liberia. When they
Yeah.
had the civil war in Liberia, right? It took a special peace corps from the UN, which
Yeah.
included members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force,
Yes.
to go to Liberia to make peace, which is
Yeah.
lasting today.
Was that Charles? Was that the
Charles
gentleman?
Taylor,
Charles Taylor. He's in
who's in
prison.
prison now. Yeah, he's
Yes.
in prison here in the UK,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
And now Liberia had their election last year. George Weah, the former footballer, lost, right?
Yes.
But he was gracious in defeat
Yes.
when he conceded and told his successor, good luck.
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay.
Haiti does not see it that way.
Yes. Well, we can only say good luck and the blessings of God and for help and intervene as much as possible. Gary, any last word before we go? I'm just gonna go.
We are very much in the throes of a divided and a confused world, and
Mm.
and again it goes down and it comes back to one word: leadership.
Leadership.
Yeah, and
Leadership.
I think that there's a lack of it. Everybody wants to be a leader. Yes, everybody wants to have their little piece of the pie and be seen and be lauded and applauded. But it takes a real individual. It takes real leadership to bring people together, and to allow people to see themselves. It's like, as I think Herbert was alluding to this, that to help an individual, a good counselor gets the individual to see the solution for themselves,
Yes.
so that they can help themselves. And I think for the solutions of the various nations, that they need to see for themselves the problem that they're in and make the necessary decisions for themselves. Like, for instance, Haiti. Again, I think Herbert was alluding to it. Why should I sacrifice, per se, my people to come down there to sort out your problem? What is it? Mad Dog? That's what he call himself.
No, barbecue.
Barbecue to some extent should see. Listen, let me stop what I'm doing. If I want to help my people, if I want to seek some kind of solution, let me stop what I'm doing. Let me stop killing my own people. Why am I killing my people? Because by me killing my people and then appeal to the other gang leaders, let's stop what we're doing, man. Let's stop what we're doing so we can.
And you're right about that. It's not as if there's some international forces there. They're just killing each other.
They're just killing each other.
Isn't it, Herbert? They're just killing each other, no matter what.
That's what they're doing.
They're killing each other.
That's
Some
what they're
people
doing.
are saying it's voodoo and all those sort of things, but I
I
mean,
don't, I don't believe that's what it is. Let me give you an example.
yes,
In 2016, there was a hurricane. I was
yes.
in, I traveled back to Grand Cayman because I was there not doing anything. They were doing some charity to collect some stuff,
Mm,
and we did about 40 containers. Not
yes,
no, like about four containers, four 40-foot containers,
yes.
and they had to get assistance from the U.S. military to coordinate. That time, Haiti had a much more stable environment,
Yes.
right? Coordinate with the U.S. military to get into Haiti, not getting off the plane, but
Mm,
allowing the military to unload the plane to hand over to the military base that was in Haiti at the time. Because if the volunteers had gone to Haiti and get off the plane, they would have been taken captive in ransom off,
mm,
right?
yeah.
So there are some people, no matter what you do, they just cannot be helped. They
Yes.
only know one thing, and it's jungle justice ruled by the gun.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right? Remember, it was just a couple months ago. A couple of missionaries were released from Haitian rebels.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So even the even the missionaries are at risk in
Um,
Haiti,
yeah, I think they did an interview of them. Some of them are at risk, and
right?
but they have accepted that their fate could be in the sense of wanting to help the people as well. Well, I really hope and trust that things work out for Haiti, and that somewhat I believe France, as you rightly say, also has a part to play, but I believe at the same time that the region also has a role to play in somewhat helping the people of Haiti. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. Those on TikTok, those on Instagram, and those on YouTube as well. I didn't touch on anything on regarding Jamaica. We'll talk about that because I think is the election now secure? Do we know one election in Jamaica? Is it ever?
Well, it's still
Gary, do you know? Gary, do you want to tell us?
they're still rolling the bigger bucket.
Is it a bigger bucket? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. you know. And so that's a development in Jamaica which you got to keep an eye on closely. Make sure everything's about leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening and thank you, Gary, and thank you, Herbert, for those invaluable insights. Remember to like and share and tune in as much as possible to the late one in review. Thank you very much and have a good night. Thank you.